You're watching New Vision TV News around Uganda. I am RUTH, NASEJJE, and we're coming to you from the New Vision newsroom. We start with the news around Uganda. Here we look at stories making the headlines across the country. We go to Namayingo district now. The registration of boats on Lolwe Island, Lake Victoria, has started so as to improve security on the waters. John Nyabesa, the OC3 chairperson, noted that since the registration involves detailed information about the water vessel, it would be very difficult for thieves to steal and reuse the same boat on the very lake. He added that incidences of piracy cannot occur as the boat registration would easily give away the culprits. According to Douglas Mangeni, the fisherman on Lolwe West landing site in Namayingo district, some unscrupulous fishermen would even steal a boat and repaint it before using it on the very lake. News from Oyam district. The former Deputy Commissioner of Uganda Prisons, Sebi Ato, married 32-year-old Mariam Adong from Yene sub-county in Oyam district. The colorful ceremony took place at the home of ailing Sebi Ato, located in Kirombe North Village, a Adel division outside Lira town. 91-year-old groom looked joyful during the ceremony. He said he decided to wed because it's culturally wrong to stay with a woman without marrying her. Sebi has 16 children from his previous relationships. The bride's mother, Santa Okwi, was supportive of the marriage. Sebi's children said they are very happy to get a mother who will take care of their ailing father. News from MBARARA town. Police spent Wednesday morning in running battles with students of MBARARA University of Science and Technology who had staged demonstrations demanding for lectures and timetables for examinations. Students were gathered at the campus square by 9 a.m., burning car tires as some proceeded to the office of the Resident District Commissioner chanting, "We want lectures, how about our rights?" Now, in a few minutes before they settled at RDC's building, police led by the FFU commander Collins Kaganzi started engaging them to leave, but all efforts proved futile as they were demanding to talk to the RDC. Kaganzi later ordered for tear gas to disperse the growing crowd. More tear gas from BESIGYE district. The police, in conjunction with soldiers of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, foiled a meeting in which the former presidential contender, retired Colonel BESIGYE, was expected to address in LUGAZI town, BESIGYE district. BESIGYE was expected to address leaders of the Forum for Democratic Change in the district at Africana Paradise Pub in LUGAZI town on Tuesday, where he was denied entry. According to Jimmy Kanabi, the BESIGYE district FDC chairperson, said that they had invited 80 members who had by 10 a.m. arrived for the meeting, in which BESIGYE was to encourage them to revive the grassroots ahead of the 2021 general elections. Now, the meeting did not proceed as BESIGYE was stopped from getting out of his car by police, who said it was not notified. Angered by security action, locals started hurling stones to the police, which responded with tear gas and rubber bullets, which injured some residents as they were being dispersed. I beg your pardon. Now, the chaos paralyzed business in the town as police aimlessly threw canisters into people's shops, including the Finance Trust Bank along the road. News coming in from Tororo district. About 1,500 Muslim families received an assortment of food items to sustain them during the holy month of Ramadan. The food items worth millions of shillings include wheat flour, posho, rice, cooking oil, and dates were donated by Tororo Cement Limited and Yalfa Transport Company as part of good gesture to share with the Muslims. Mohammed Ashraf, the chief distributor, said the donation is part of their routine exercise where they spare funds to share with the Muslims every year, especially the holy months with the increased economic situation. Ashraf said similar support will be delivered to support Muslims in districts of Mbale, Sironko, Budaka and Busitema. Let's close the news around Uganda from Kiryandongo district, where the Norwegian government has pledged continued support for the refugee response in Uganda. The Norwegian Minister for International Development, Dag Wolstein, said support will be channeled through the United Nations organizations, which works closely with the government and civil society organizations. His visit, which aimed at getting a better understanding of how the refugee response is in practice, was also intended to learn more about the important work of the Ugandan authorities at both national and local level in addressing the needs of the refugees and host communities. Hussein explained that Norway will be hosting an international humanitarian conference on sexual and gender-based violence. The objective of the conference, according to Wolstein, will be aimed at mobilizing stronger political commitment and financial support to protect and assist people at risk and survivors of conflict-related sexual violence of the Council had signed. That is it for the news around Uganda. Let us now take a look at the news around East African later, news around the world. I am NASEJJE. You're watching New Vision TV news around East Africa and around the world. We start with the news around East Africa. We start from Tanzania, where Tanzania continues to mourn a businessman, Reginald Mengi, who died last week. After ceremonies in Dar es Salaam, the body arrived in the northern region of Kilimanjaro, where it is being viewed in different towns before the burial on Thursday. Mengi was an industrialist, media owner, and philanthropist. News from Kenya. Kenyans in Uganda start registering for Huduma, an integrated service number that links all personal data, including the national identity card, tax particulars, national health insurance, crime record, tax particulars. Registration takes place at the High Commission in Kampala starting this Wednesday and continues for 45 days non-stop, including weekends and public holidays. We close the news around East Africa from Uganda, where Uganda President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has commissioned 10 factories in one day in the ongoing drive to industrialize the country and drive it to middle-income status by next year. The 10 factories have added 5,000 new jobs to the country's employment. Let's look at other stories making headlines beyond East Africa. Now, from South Africa, the African National Congress faced its toughest electoral test on Wednesday as it sought to reverse a slide in support from voters frustrated by graft and racial inequalities, a generation after it won power in South Africa's first all-race poll. Queues built up at polling stations through the morning as South Africans started voting in parliamentary and provincial elections. Officials have not said when the final results will be announced. Now, the national election is the first under President Cyril Ramaphosa, who replaced scandal-plagued Jacob Zuma as head of state in February 2018 after 4 years as Zuma's deputy. Opinion polls suggest the ANC will again win the majority of the 400 seats in the National Assembly, but analysts have predicted its margin of victory will fall, particularly in major cities. From Sudan, Sudan's ruling transitional military council said on Tuesday it had the option to call for early elections within 6 months if they did not reach an agreement with the opposition on the structure and details of an interim government. The council also said that former intelligence chief Salah Ghosh was under house arrest and that more than 4 members of the council had resigned. Beyond Africa, from Afghanistan, an explosion shook an upscale area of the Afghan capital on Wednesday, the third day of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, sending a cloud of smoke and dust in the sky. It is not clear if there were any casualties. Security around Kabul has been tight since Taliban militants announced their annual spring offense, and the group vowed to target Afghan government and foreign installations. Interior Ministry spokesperson Nasrat Rahimi said the blast was on the Saraniu area of Kabul, but he had no detail on any casualties. Now, Rahim added there was sporadic gunfire in the area. The blast comes just over 2 weeks after gunmen targeted the communications ministry in the central Kabul, killing at least 7 people. The attack was claimed by the Islamic State. Moving on to Syria, Russia has increased its airstrike campaign on the northwestern Syria province of Idlib in the past few days, which rights group warn could lead to a new humanitarian crisis in the war-torn country. More than 100 Russian airstrikes have targeted Idlib and parts of the neighboring province of Hama in recent days. That is according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The observatory, which has researchers across Syria, charged that Syrian government helicopters have also dropped barrel bombs on towns and villages across Idlib. Now, since late April, militants have launched several military operations against Syrian regime troops, killing scores of them, which prompted the recent Russian bombardment that had killed dozens of civilians, according to the local media reports. News from Iran. Iran said it had started scaling back parts of its commitments under the 2015 nuclear deal on Wednesday and threatened to do more if world powers did not protect it from the U.S. sanctions, after Washington pulled out of the pact. President Hassan Rouhani said Tehran would move on to resuming high-level uranium enrichment if the remaining signatories, Britain, France, Germany, China, and Russia, do not make good on promises to shield its oil and banking sectors in the next 60 days. France's defense minister said she wanted to keep the nuclear deal alive, but warned Iran it could face more sanctions if it did not honor its part of the deal. Closing off the news around the world, we go to Iraq, where U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo made an announcement visit to Baghdad on Tuesday and met Iraq's Prime Minister and other top officials to discuss the safety of Americans in Iraq and explain U.S. security concerns amid rising Iranian activity. The visit came 2 days after U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton said the United States was deploying the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln and a bomber task force to the region because of a credible threat by Iranian regime forces. Washington has ramped up sanctions on Tehran over its nuclear program in recent months and designed the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist group. Now, Iraqi Prime Minister Abdel Mahdi said the United States was an important strategic partner of Iraq, but stressed that Baghdad was continuing to seek a balanced relationship with all its friends and neighbors, including neighboring Iran. That is it for the news around East Africa and around the world. I am RUTH NASEJJE. Now, what to expect in the Thursday paper? We have Business Vision. It says, is Uganda's gold sector prone to illicit money flows? And then experts say the industry is rooted in secrecy, and then find out how to secure personal financial information online. We have all these in the Business Vision or in the Thursday paper. Let us take a look at what is making headlines in the sports industry. Now, Uganda's poor start in the ongoing UGPRO World Tennis Tour may continue since David Oringa and Samuel Ayala were eliminated from the first round of the main draw in the first fixtures. Oringa and Ayala went down to Julius River Jonas of Ruthiana 6-2, 6-1 and Oniridu Shadrasaraka of India 6-1, 6-0 respectively on Tuesday at Lugogo Tennis Complex. This comes after two other Ugandans, Soare Seblime and Paul Sekandi, could not go past the qualifying round on Monday. Oringa and Ayala, who also took part in the main draw of last year's fixtures, are also part of the four-man team that will represent the country in a Davis Cup in Congo-Brazzaville next month. This is the second year Uganda is hosting pro tennis circuit since being readmitted to the International Tennis Federation and Confederation of Africa Tennis in December 2017. Uganda Cranes head coach Sebastian Desabre has summoned two separate squads of local best players to start preparations for the forthcoming 2019 COSAFA and Total AFCON finals tournaments in South Africa and Egypt, respectively. The 19 local best players armored for AFCON will camp at Kabira Country Club for residential training starting Monday before the 26-man squad will be selected, with inclusion of the foreign players who will further training in the United Arab Emirates. In UAE, the squad will be reduced to 23, and that will feature in the Total AFCON finals in Egypt. Meanwhile, the 20 local best players named the COSAFA competitions hold non-residential training that starts next week on Wednesday at StarTimes Stadium, Lugogo. The COSAFA tournament will be played from May 25th to June 8th. However, some players from the initial preliminary AFCON squad will be considered for COSAFA tournament if they don't travel to the United Arab Emirates. Some international sport, Liverpool coach Jurgen Klopp has hailed his side comeback against Spanish giants Barcelona to reach their second consecutive final of the UEFA Champions League. Liverpool, who had lost the first leg 3-0, managed to overturn the result to humble Barcelona 4-0 at Anfield Stadium yesterday night to progress 4-3 on aggregate. Klopp also praised the mastermind plan of Trent Alexander-Arnold for the quick-thinking corner that created Origi's 79th minute winner and caught every Barcelona player unaware in the penalty area. However, Barcelona coach Ernesto Valverde was still in shock to what happened with his side. That is it for sports news. In our Daily Pearl of Africa series, we look at the white egret. Now, Uganda has a total of 1,061 bird species. These are concentrated in forests, lakes, the sky, and even the mountains. Today, we look at one of the most adorable species, the white egret, locally known as Enyange. The egret is loved and treasured because of white feathers, which it keeps immaculately clean. In fact, its name, Enyange, is anonymously used to depict cleanliness. Found in many parts of Uganda, the egret flies in large flocks and their snow-white plumage is so fascinating to watch as they fly in V-shaped formation. In Kampala City, you don't have to travel far beyond the center to see thousands of egrets who they congregate at the Kabaka's lake. The locals have an old saying that if only the Kabaka wanted to enjoy his royalty to the full, he would only employ egrets to brew his beer. In fact, several old laundry companies used to include the word Nyange in their names. For more Pearl of Africa stories, visit our website, which is newvision.co.ug/Pearl of Africa. Our newspaper, The Sunday Vision, is also another home of adventures. Grab your copy every Sunday for Pearl of Africa stories. We speak business now with Lynn Komjisha in The Handshake.
Well, hello there. My name is Lynn Komjisha. This is the Handshake. I have with me Paul Busharizi. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So the government is trying to review the withholding tax on agriculture. Paul, do we know what this tax is?
So what would happen is that certain inputs are taxed by government.
Right.
So let's just say, I'm just using an example. Let's just say, let's say chemicals of some sort, fertilizers or something. So because government wants to, withholding tax is a tax which they, as it says,
Withholding, yes.
In anticipation that you'll pay them like your corporation tax or something. So if you're, let's say, an agricultural input shop, and you would charge, let me get this correct, you charge withholding tax on stuff you're selling, which withholding tax you would then remit to government in anticipation.
Paul, it's already a long journey for me in my head. I am thinking, and remember they're working on an amending the income tax.
Yes.
The Income Tax Act. Why are they trying to do this?
No, we need to understand the withholding tax. The withholding tax, if for example you're a company that is supposed to remit profit, corporation tax, which is a tax on profit. So if you get a service from government, for example, let's use government as an example. If you supply paper to government,
right.
So when government is paying you, it will remove some amount of money and remit it to URA. That's what they call withholding tax. So if you make a profit, when you're paying your tax on your profit, you go to the URA and say, but I already paid this withholding tax, so net it off.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
So now they were having a problem in the agriculture. So if you're supplying, let's say a milk company is supplying milk to, let's just say, government institution, and government wants to take off withholding tax, that it was putting the farmers under stress, that so they want to remove it and just hope that these people will just pay them eventually. That's what it is really.
And what is that supposed to help them if they remove it?
No, withholding tax is just a way for government to catch the tax as soon as possible.
Yes, that I
otherwise it will have to wait. So now, if they essentially what it is if I've taken tax from you now, it is money I've taken out of your business now. So
money I have not made yet.
No, I have made it. But if it stayed in my business, it will do much more.
Yes.
Exactly. So government is removing the withholding tax on, I think, people who are providing inputs and stuff to the agricultural sector. And, hope that we pay you, you will pay us when you make your profit.
So
it's just a way to help you with business, because it's about cash. If you take out, if they take out 10 million, let's just say 10 million shillings out of your business every month, you might feel...
What if I don't have the 10 million?
No, you will, because you come to me, you sold me milk, let's say 1,000 liters. Of that 1,000 liters, let's just say it's 1 million shillings. Of that 1 million shillings, I don't know what the withholding tax is, but let's say it's about 6%, let's say 5%. So 50,000 of that you will keep. Instead of paying me 1 million, you'll pay me 950,000. But you see, if I kept that 50,000, I might pay a guy to milk, I might do what, then I can pay you later on. It's just a way of allowing them to keep their cash flow and pay us later.
What if we don't pay at all?
Exactly, and that is why withholding tax was introduced, because we don't trust you to pay us later. We have withholding tax.
How come now they seem to...
I think the lobby for the agricultural sector has been very strong, and they've managed to win this concession from government. That's really what it means.
Will that in any way help the agriculturalists, the farmers, the people in the agriculture industry?
I think the suggestion was that what was happening is that some people were even withholding money but not remitting it. So you've sold me 1,000 liters of milk. I'm supposed to pay you 950 and remit 50 to government. I pay you 950, but I keep the 50,000. So government saying, okay, instead of cheating our farmers, you give him all the money.
And then what?
Well, at least you should be happy. Because you're taking it, essentially, I am making you, I'm paying you less for your milk.
Yes.
Because I'm keeping the money, which I don't even remit.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. Theft.
So, is this part of the new taxes, the new, you know?
Yeah,
taxes?
it's part of the new tax proposals for this year. Yes. It's just one of, I mean, the government has kind of taxed they've kind of taxed everything they have. So in our budgets for the last, God knows, 10 years, it's just been about just adjusting the tax and adjusting in, out, or something like that.
Why do I think this financial year they've done a lot of taxing?
Because they got you on OTT.
Is it because they're, I think, getting to me?
Yes, absolutely, which is how it should be. all of us should pay tax, whether through OTT or mobile money, what we should all pay.
The other day I was going to withdraw some very little money and they talk about 10-20% of it. I say, yeah.
That's how it works. Everyone should pay.
So I think we need to have a discussion on those taxes that they have, the proposals. They're quite a number.
Yeah. The budget is going to be passed next week, actually.
Yeah.
May 15th, I think, is the deadline. Yeah, so by that time we should have a whole range of what the new proposals are.
Oh, well, I hope they really help us.
Of course they will.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lynn. Remember, you can get more news updates and other programs here on New Vision TV by visiting our website, which is newvision.co.ug/video. You can also follow us on social media. Facebook is The New Vision. Twitter is at New Vision Warrior. Instagram is at New Vision Warrior. And our YouTube channel is New Vision TV. Catch up with me on my Twitter handle. I am Ruth, the voice.